Hi, welcome to this final part in my apology videos timeline. I'm going to be going through the year 2020 and 2021 when it comes to apology videos. So I will show you a quick timeline of that. If you want to take a look at the other apology videos, I will have them on my channel. I'm not going to link them down below. There's going to be a lot of trigger warnings in this video. I'll flash them on the screen now. The other thing I wanted to mention is please do not send any of these YouTubers hate. This is not what this video is about. And the third thing I wanted to mention is that all of the videos that are still up, all of the apology videos, I have watched almost all of them. And so just so you know, I am at the point where I feel like I could comment on them, or any other links that I mention or YouTubers I mention, I will have their videos linked down below as well too. So welcome to this final part video. Let's get started. So 2020 was kind of a weird year because of coronavirus, but the first one that I feel like was a very notable apology in 2020 was Gabbie Hanna. This was February 13th, 2020, and it was just titled For Bianca. So hopefully I don't have to go over who Gabbie is, but essentially she's a Vine star, YouTuber. She worked at BuzzFeed for a while. She did a video where she dressed up like an e-girl, and one of the example pictures that she showed was a girl that had been essentially brutally murdered. Gabbie was kind of afraid of the media frenzy around the tragedy, so she mentioned how she didn't want to address it right away. She reached out to the mother of the girl and apologized. The mom said that she wasn't offended, and the mom was just okay with her sharing the public apology. She mentioned that her daughter's friends had kind of taken more offense to it. So overall, this apology is close to 16 minutes in length. It has 55,000 likes and 11,000 dislikes. I will show a clip of it now.
Caused you pain. I was unsure of how to handle this without causing you and your family distress, and I'm very sorry if it has. I'm also sorry for taking a while to reach out. I was hoping it hadn't gotten back to you and didn't want to bring it up in case it hadn't. I can't even begin to imagine what you're going through, and I offer my deepest condolences. Please don't hesitate to reach out with questions or literally anything else I can do to help you in this difficult time. If I've learned one thing these past couple weeks, it's that a lot of people care very deeply for your daughter. She's impacted a lot of people and everyone just wants justice, myself included.
Gabbie linked a fundraiser in memoriam for Bianca, the victim, in the field of psychology, because that's what Bianca was really passionate about and possibly going to school for. So I thought that was kind of nice. I think I've talked about Gabbie Hanna before, though. She's been on this list a few times and she's going to be on it, I think, at least one more time. So just kind of remember her name. Jaystation, February 21st, 2020. This is titled Goodbye. So Jaystation, or Jason Either or Ether, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, was a Canadian YouTuber and vlogger. He was primarily known for his prank videos, and I'll just read a quick excerpt passage from Wikipedia to give you kind of a condensed version of Jaystation. So it said, along with releasing staged content, Ether is notorious for exploiting others for his own success. He has been strongly criticized for taking advantage of his younger following with staged videos, exploiting and profiting off of the deaths of celebrities for views, and the mistreatment of his girlfriend, Alexa Mariano. So, the original apology video was deleted, but it was around 13 minutes in length. Essentially, in January of 2020, Jaystation had claimed to his audience that his girlfriend at the time had been killed by a drunk driver. That was completely not true. And he ended up visiting the memorial of his girlfriend and doing a seance there, or using a Ouija board. When it came out that she was alive, he was mercilessly like attacked, and for good reason. I will show you a clip from his apology.
It could be pretty insensitive. Like, I did a lot of stereotypical stuff that I'm just not proud of. Over the next couple of days, you're gonna see I'm gonna delete a ton of these videos. Anytime I had beef with another creator, deleted it, or I'm about to delete it. And again, I just want to say sorry. I love you if you've been supporting me.
In his apology, he talks about a lot of the shit he used to pull on YouTube. He says, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, and stupid things on YouTube. He talked about how he was basically quitting YouTube. Talks a lot about his negativity, or the negativity on the platform. And just so you know, like what has happened to Jaystation since then. So after he claimed that his girlfriend was dead, his girlfriend came out with a video saying that she wasn't dead. They ended up getting into like a domestic argument and fight where police were called. Jaystation left YouTube for a period of time. It was a couple months, and when he returned, it was with his girlfriend again. They had gotten back together. And then one day, all but like one video was deleted from their shared YouTube channel, and it was basically of his girlfriend breaking up with him. Since then, he kind of did like a lot of reaction / like gameplay videos. Okay, and then I'm reading this passage from Wikipedia again. On March 12th, 2021, his channel I'm Jaystation, along with his other YouTube channel that he started, was terminated. The reason was because he was violating YouTube's guidelines. He contacted YouTube and asked if they had made a mistake and asked them to reinstate him. So YouTube responded via email that the reasons for his termination, and he ended up like blasting the site, calling it the worst platform ever. So essentially he's kind of like Leafy, he's banned from the platform. The whole termination was kind of like really well received, except that a lot of people thought that YouTube went about it the wrong way, simply because like a lot of people thought he was an asshole and glad that he was deleted from the platform, but they didn't like the fact that YouTube did it in such a way that they did. Katerino, April 14th, 2020, and it's just titled An Update. So Katerino, if you don't know, is a Twitch streamer and was kind of famous for dating another streamer called Call Me Carson. That's where the controversy kind of begins. She ended up cheating on both Call Me Carson and Fitz, which is another Twitch streamer. A few more people had been named as like having been in a relationship with her. But essentially Call Me Carson ended up going like on a break due to like mental health reasons. And it escalated when another Reddit poster posted on r/Call Me Carson suggesting that Kate continued to like cheat on Carson with Fitz. And essentially Carson ended up confirming this, leading to a lot of hate sent to both Carson. A lot of hate leading to both Katerino and also Fitz. So I will show you a clip from her apology.
And I'm sorry to everyone. I'm sorry to my community and anyone that I've disappointed or let down. I'm sorry to Carson's community. I'm sorry to Fitz's community and anyone else's community who was affected by this. Anyone who had to deal with this drama in their chat. I'm sorry to Tempo. I'm sorry to Fitz for hurting his image and his friendship with Carson. I'm sorry to my ex-boyfriend.
Her apology is a little over 3.5 minutes. It has 17,000 likes and 563,000 dislikes. This video was not well received. Call Me Carson was the more well-known, not YouTuber, but Twitch streamer between all of them. And so when she was the one kind of caught cheating, she admitted it in her apology video, but it ended up just like sinking her in the end. She talked about how she was just kind of making bad life choices, and I think she even talked about how she was like going through like a sex addiction therapy, and it hadn't worked. Since this time period, Call Me Carson has been in his own scandal. However, he has not issued like an apology video as of, April 25th, 2021. But he has this scandal where he was caught messaging minors, like his fans, and instead of issuing like an apology video, he just decided to go completely like radio silent and hasn't posted anything since the controversy has come out about him. Colleen Ballinger, aka Miranda, sings May 12th, 2020, and it's titled Addressing Everything. So Colleen Ballinger is a YouTube comedian / actress / singer who's best known for her Miranda Sings character. So she, just so you know, created this character as a comically talentless, egotistical, misguided, and quirky character on her YouTube channel. In these videos, she gives like tutorials, recounts her daily activities, and discusses like current events. Her catchphrase is "haters back off," which, just so you guys know, if I'm not giving this like the appropriate like backstory, I'm so sorry. I never really watched Miranda Sings. In the last few years, it seems like Colleen has been backing off this character that she has created. Kind of like Fred, it kind of reminds me of, but I'm not entirely sure. So the controversy is over many, many, many different things over the years that, Colleen essentially addressed. So first off, she had like videos of her and her sister, like just acting like stereotypical Latina women, and it was very, very racist and kind of insulting. She apologizes for a tweet or like a story time about how an overweight woman sat next to her on a plane. She apologized for like offensive tweets that had come out. She had given a fan control of her Twitter account for a day and like had approved all the tweets, but didn't really read them that closely, and some of them were really, really offensive. And then she apologized for like kind of the biggest thing, which was sending a minor underwear. So I will show you a clip of her apology now.
And when he posted it, I put zero blame on him at all. It was my fault. I knew better than to let someone else tweet for me. I should have reviewed closely every single thing that was going to come out of Miranda's mouth. I let him know that I loved him. He did a great job. It was my fault, not his. I publicly apologized for the tweet. I deleted the tweets that were posted that weren't posted from me. I let him know that I was upset, that people were disappointed in me, and then he said he logged out of the account, and that was the end of it. That was the last I heard from him until he sent me the message saying he was really upset with me, and that is when I then responded and got the message.
She had talked about how a 17-year-old fan had posted a YouTube video accusing her of failing to pay him for social media content that he had suggested for her Miranda Sings social media accounts. And he did not allege that there was any contract between them, and noting that she had sent him an inappropriate gift of lingerie. Essentially, in this whole video, Colleen kind of addresses that, and she talks about how she kept getting sent a lot of strange things from her fans, including this lingerie set that she ended up having like her fiance at the time, I think it's now her husband, model on camera. And then she asked anyone if they wanted it, and she had gotten the fan, and it was an underage person who said that they were interested in the lingerie set, and she sent it to him. So that was kind of her explaining the situation. As far as like the racist tweet, or at least I'm not even sure what it was, I think it was maybe like a sexist tweet or something like that. She had talked about how she had pre-approved all the tweets, but she hadn't really read through them. She just said, oh yep, okay, because he had tweeted for her before in the past, so she trusted him. I did really like the video that Smoky Glow posted about this situation, because Miranda talks a lot about all these different things and makes them very reasonable. It was very an emotional apology, but Smoky Glow's video actually goes into more detail about things that perhaps Colleen like glossed over.
Hi, future Katie Bird here. I just wanted to go over a couple quick things with the last apology video I just talked about, Colleen Ballinger. I'll try to make this quick, but essentially I was editing this video and I was rewatching this piece, and I am horrified at myself because it sounds like I'm just tired of this whole situation, or like that I don't care about this apology. And the fact of the matter is, I think I'm just tired of apology videos in general at this point when I film this. So it comes off as being like really dismissive. What Colleen is apologizing for is something very, very serious. She's apologizing for sending lingerie to a minor, a child. And that is probably one of the more serious things that someone could apologize for, because it's effed up. And I think the reason why like this situation didn't get worse for her after this apology video is because, I hate to say it, like, she's a woman. It would have been really creepy if a man had sent an underage fan underwear or lingerie or anything like that. And the fact that she's a woman, I think, plays a role. I think also the fact that, you know, she said she gave it away from a live stream, and, you know, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, I believe that she never tried it on or whatnot, but that still doesn't make the situation okay. You are sending a child lingerie. It's never going to be okay. And then the other thing that I felt like I was really dismissive about was like the tweet that was sent out from her account. If you watch Smoky Glow's video on this, she kind of explains it a little bit more, but I believe that tweet that a lot of people were talking about at the time was very queer baiting, which is something that Colleen Ballinger has like a history of doing, which is also a very serious thing. So yeah, anyway, future Katie Bird here, just trying to explain. This is a very serious issue, and she should be apologizing for it, and she kind of got let off the hook for it. So she also had, like I said, other things to like apologize for, and she kind of glossed it over. So anyway, I'll finish this part up. Try to keep it quick. It wasn't. Anyway, on to the next apology.
Gabbie Hanna, May 14th, 2020. This video is titled Jessie Smiles, Trisha Paytas, Alex James, and Beyonce. So Gabbie Hanna again, I believe that this is the last time that she's going to show up on my list. This video addresses a lot of things. Based off of the title, you can probably tell Gabbie and this other creator, Jessie Smiles, or at least have had a giant feud on the platform for the last 6 years. I don't really watch Gabbie's videos. I don't watch Jessie's videos, so I was kind of unfamiliar about it. But basically the gist of the situation is the fact that Jessie Smiles, trigger warning, was like raped by her ex-boyfriend. She ended up filing a police report about it, and it was kind of kept under wraps, except that Gabbie Hanna, who was a friend of Jessie Smiles back in the day, there was like a rumor that she was going to collaborate with this boyfriend who had essentially raped her friend. So in this video, Gabbie Hanna talks about how the TMZ report about this hadn't even come out yet, so she was kind of unfamiliar about what happened with the story. And so like it's just kind of been snowballing through years and years and years. That's how like the whole situation started, but essentially they've been throwing shade at each other for years too. This whole video is 43 minutes and 39 seconds long. I'm going to show you a quick clip of Gabbie's apology. Okay, so in this video, she kind of talks about how she never really truly directly messaged Jessie Smiles after this controversy kind of came out. She talks about the drama that they've both been in for the last few years, very off and on. Thought that they were cool, and then she ended up being blocked again. And then she did apologize for kind of what she said, letting off steam to a fan. Basically, she had bad-mouthed Jessie Smiles to a fan, and it got reported on in the media, or at least online somewhere. So that was the first controversy. The second one is Trisha Paytas and Gabbie Hanna kind of went back and forth between each other. They were kind of feuding. Trish had been going behind Gabbie's back apparently and telling people that Gabbie is obsessed with Trish. Gabbie admits that she told Jason Nash that she heard from a friend that Trish might have herpes, which she said she believed at the time, and it ended up getting out online. Trish has absolutely denied that she has ever had STDs or at least herpes, and that Gabbie had no reason to say that to Jason. And then Gabbie talks about another YouTuber, or at least online influencer, Alex James. So she had went on a podcast and talked about how she had gone across the country with a friend, and that this person wasn't her friend anymore. She reached out and he didn't respond, but then he put out a video. Essentially, he had played a prank on Gabbie, saying that there was like ghosts at a hotel, and then she thought she was haunted after that. It turned out he was just playing a prank on her. And then she addresses like a stupid Beyonce tweet. So Gabbie has a lot of stuff going on in her life at all times. I mean, her apology videos seem very sincere, but Gabbie is a person who is like, I want to say like infamous for being problematic, but online she is a very charismatic presence and personality. You can tell she's really smart, which makes her very, very convincing. I don't know how to describe her. She's just like very cunning, and I can see why people, at least online, have the title of influencer. Like Gabbie definitely has that trait to a T. Like she can influence and is charismatic enough to normally like sway people's opinions of her, especially when she issues apology videos. So this video, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just like really done with Gabbie. I'm so thankful that all of her videos, like I don't think I'm gonna have to talk about her again, so I'm very thankful about that. Stauffer Family, May 26, 2020, and this video was titled An Update on Our Family. So if you don't know who the Stauffers are, they are like a family vlogging channel / like mommy channel. The father runs his own car detailing business, and he, just so you guys know, is still posting on his channel, still gets great comments, still gets great views. So they're making bank. But if you want to watch a good video on the Stauffer family and the whole situation, you can watch Tom Harlick's video. So he did a video that was titled The Vloggers Who Return Their Adopted Baby, and he goes into the entire history of this channel and recounts the overall downfall of the Stauffer family. As I said before, Micah and James Stauffer were a family vlog / YouTube channel. Micah was a registered nurse at one point before I think she decided to stop practicing medicine and just decided to be at home full time. James Stauffer, like I said, car detailing business. So this apology video was essentially them announcing that they had rehomed their adopted child. So the Stauffers had 4 biological children, and they had adopted another child from China. And they had done this like several years before, or at least a year or so before their final child, biological child, was born. Excuse me. Longtime viewers of the channel had been like calling out them for their behavior to this child. I'm not going to show their faces or their names because I don't think that's fair to children, especially like family vlogging channels. I think it's completely wrong to exploit their children, but essentially it seemed like the Stauffers adopted this child and made like, I think it was like a 28 video series on their adoption journey to get this child. They have deleted their original apology. So I'm sorry, I had to find a re-uploaded version, so I'm going to show you a clip from that now.
It's just been a really hard place to be in, like, because you're grieving, I want to share with you guys, like, I know deep down inside that I don't have to say anything, like, I don't have to say this, I don't have to, but I want to, like, I want to tell you, you guys have been there for us for so much, and I want to fill you in on what's going on and what hard, like, do I feel like a failure as a mom? Like, 500%. So when you get, like, insidious, hurtful comments, it just, like, really makes it hurt worse. It's not about me at all, but it's just, like, this journey has been, the last couple months have been, like, the hardest thing I could have ever imagined choosing to do. Because ultimately, after pouring our guts and our heart into this little boy,
So the only time that Micah ever gets really emotional in this video is when she starts talking about how her fans have supported them through this really hard time. So essentially she had adopted this child. They had claimed that they didn't know a lot of the history behind the child and that he had way more problems than what they expected. They had put out such a huge series that a lot of people can probably show you clips from where they said things like, oh, but you know, he was our child and we would never rehome our child. As soon as we saw him, he was part of our family. And essentially they returned their child. I'm just going to say this. I honestly don't know how they're not in jail for like human trafficking. Even if that child never experienced like any like sexual abuse, how did they not get in trouble for bringing a child over into another country and essentially abandoning him here somewhere? I don't know. This video makes me want to give up on life. Jenna Marbles, June 25th, 2020, and it's just titled A Message. So Jenna Marbles is an OG YouTuber. She has had one other apology before this that's kind of considered like the gold standard for YouTube apology videos because people talk about her genuine authenticity on this channel. She basically apologized for a lot of her old videos and content that she had put out and she just hadn't addressed. So I'm just going to read through a few of the things and then I'll show you a clip. She talks about that, like how in quarantine in 2020 people kind of had been recommended a lot of her old videos that didn't really express her views now. She had apologized for a video that was kind of like blackface, just based off of the apology and like the implied things is that Jenna Marbles had done this impression of Nicki Minaj and had put on a pink wig, and people thought that she had tanned herself for the video, but Jenna kind of hints and implies that she just tanned like that back then and that it hadn't been specifically for that video. So that was kind of like her apology in her rap song called Bounce That Dick. She had talked about Asian stereotypes. She said that it was deleted because it offended people. And then she goes on to apologize for a lot of the misogynistic and like kind of slut shamey is how I think she puts it in her video. Her old like comedy videos and like gender stereotypes and like heteronormative behavior that she had put out. So I will play you a clip of her apology.
What I want from the people that I support and that I like is to have accountability and to know that I'm supporting someone whose morals and values align with my own. And yeah, there's things in my past I'm not proud of. And I'm getting a lot of tweets from people saying, why have you privated all these old videos? And I've spent a lot of the last few days privating almost all of my old content. And I'm sorry if any of that holds any nostalgia for you, but I'm literally not trying to put out negative things into the world.
One of the quotes from her apology is, "It's awful, it doesn't need to exist, it's inexcusable, it's not okay. I'm incredibly sorry if this offended then, now, whenever. It doesn't need to exist. It shouldn't have existed. I shouldn't have said that ever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's not okay. And I'm embarrassed that I ever made that, period." So essentially, she kind of talks about how she wasn't having fun on the platform anymore, making videos and making content. And she talks about how she's quitting YouTube. She said, I don't know, could be a month, could be forever, I don't know. And as of April 25th, 2021, she hasn't posted anything. So it's almost been like a full year that Jenna Marbles has quit YouTube. I would say that this is probably like a turning point for apology videos because I feel like with this apology, she's kind of truly like walking the walk instead of just talking the talk. I personally want Jenna Marbles to return to the platform, but then again, I'm not one of the people that she offended. I'm not part of any group that she offended, and if you feel differently, I totally understand. So just so you know though, I mean, I think that she's probably, just from what I've seen online, and I don't know if it's a good reflection of a person, but a lot of her content had changed over the years, and I had never even watched any of older videos that Jenna had put out. I had only kind of become a fan of hers for like the last 3 years when she started doing like funny craft videos and videos about her dogs. She kept apologizing for being like a dog channel, but I didn't care. I don't have dogs, and I really like the content. Shane Dawson, June 26, 2020, and this video is titled Taking Accountability. Shane Dawson, if you don't know, is an OG YouTuber. In this video, Shane Dawson talks about how this is kind of a response to the Jenna Marbles video. His video is 20 minutes and 28 seconds long. The likes, dislikes, and comments are all disabled. So he mentions his blackface. He says that he hates the person he was when he was younger. He mentions he did blackface a lot. He talks about like the normalization and the part he played in of that for blackface and like saying the N-word. He brings up Franchesca Ramsey. So I think in my first video I talked about it where he had kind of apologized to Franchesca, but not really apologized. She had basically been one of the first people to ever call out Shane Dawson and talked to him, tried opening up a dialogue, and he completely shut her down. And not only that, but he had kind of sicked his fans and his groupies on her online. He talks about a podcast where he wanted to murder a specific woman. A lot of people said, like, back then, the rumors saying it was Francesca. He denies it. He says, though it was a woman that he knew in his life, but it wasn't Francesca, but he still kind of regrets saying that he wanted to murder a woman. He talks about his jokes about pedophilia, and then he talks about how he was thoughtless overall in what he posted, and he was willing to lose everything with this apology. So I will show you a clip of that.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to be black and to see this white fucking guy do blackface and the whole internet at that time being like, LOL, that's insane. And I am so sorry. I don't know how to even fully apologize because it seems like something that is irredeemable, or I don't know the right word, but it's something that I shouldn't even be able to get out of. I should lose everything for that.
He also talked about the James and Tati situation, how his tweet was kind of like a response where he says to James Charles he wanted him to be served like a slice of humble pie, and he said that he wanted to be funny. He apologized to James, and then he apologized for like holding all of his friends to a lower standard. He has been off YouTube for a while, but it seems like lately him and his fiance Ryland Adams have been kind of rebranding themselves online. And I believe it was the YouTuber Creepy Show Art or Creepy Art Show, I can't remember. But she was talking about how, like, in marketing, when people want to make a comeback who have kind of a bad reputation, they rebrand themselves. So Shane might be coming back within this coming year. Tati Westbrook, June 30th, 2020. This video is titled Breaking My Silence. So, as I said before, Tati is a makeup guru who came out with the infamous Bye Sister video, and it caused James to release that apology video titled Tati, and then he released another one after that I think it was called Addressing the Rumors. So this video is not the most traditional apology videos. It's 40 minutes long. It's very aesthetic. I actually thought about like getting a tiger t-shirt with the word peace, but I just did not bother. She goes through and she reads through a script, which, like, same girl, but she also does everything like really aesthetically, and she has like a better lighting setup than I do. Also, she's not filming in a basement like I am. So I will show you a clip from this video.
After Shane and Jeffree's series ended, James Charles came to my LA home, and we compared DMs, texts, and stories about what had happened behind the scenes. We apologized to each other, forgave each other, and agreed to wait patiently until it was safe for me to share my story. Since that night, James Charles has repeatedly said that he wanted to be beside me for this video. But I felt it was important that I do it alone, because he deserves my first apology. And I am really sorry, James. And I've said that privately, but I want you to hear it publicly. I'm sorry.
This whole apology is like maybe 2 minutes long to James and then to her viewers. She cries mostly about like her viewers supporting her. But she does essentially apologize to James Charles for Dramageddon, or at least being the inciting incident for it. This whole video is basically her pushing off all of the blame to Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, though. So It's like a quick apology and then pushing all of the blame onto them, even though she was the one to put out the video. Jeffree Star, July 18th, 2020, and it's just titled Doing What's Right. It's a little over 10 minutes long. All the likes, dislikes, comments are disabled. This is his response/apology. He talks about how he wasn't trying to take anyone down. He said that we all need to take responsibility for our actions. He said that he let people gas him up, and he apologized to James Charles. He said that he has never committed a crime before in his life, and he hasn't blackmailed anyone. I will show you a clip from his apology.
I know this may sound shocking coming from my mouth, but when you accept that you are the problem, you can become the solution. And I've definitely put myself in the victim mentality before when I knew I was wrong, and I didn't want to admit it, I wasn't ready to, and I was too insecure. But today, there are no excuses. I'm someone that has impulse control, and I'm fully admitting my flaws, and I hope that people can learn from me.
Holy gold couch. Oh my God. He defends Shane Dawson. He mentions his history of being homeless and talks about his makeup company. And then he says that with his silence, it's been like a lot of self-reflection. Gold couch. Wow, he's on a very gold couch. And then he talks about how like most of the conversation should be on the BLM movement, Black Lives Matter. And then he talks about Breonna Taylor and then Elijah McClain. Interesting like tidbit from a comment that I saw. And I didn't look back to see if it was true or not. He actually redubbed over one of the people's names because he had originally mispronounced it. Okay, so at the time of this recording, I didn't double check that, but when I went back and edited this, I did go back and rewatch his whole video, and I found the part where he mispronounces Elijah McClain's name. So I'm just going to insert that as a quick clip right after this. Thanks, bye.
Now, Breonna Taylor still has no justice. Black trans women are being murdered every day and the news is silent. Elijah McClain has no justice. And
he didn't even know one of the names for it. Was just a big distraction, not an apology. James Charles, July 25th, 2020, and it's titled A Day in the Life with James Charles. James Charles, hopefully I don't have to give the backstory to this. It's not a typical apology video, but he has an apology in it, and it's just like a title card. I'm going to flash that on the screen now, and then I'm going to read it to you guys. So, hi sisters! I decided to cut the party footage from the video, even though I have been wearing a mask in public and have tested negative multiple times. Going to a party during a pandemic was a selfish and stupid decision. People's safety and keeping COVID-19 contained is far more important than celebrating a friend's birthday, and unsafe partying is not something I want to promote to my audience. I recognize that with my platform comes responsibility, and I encourage you guys to be smarter than I was. Wear your masks and continue to social distance. Love you. He doesn't have a real apology, and this is, I would say, the typical James Charles apology, because he normally doesn't make a video on it. That's just kind of a more recent thing. He's been in countless scandals and controversies, and this is how he normally handles them. He puts out a statement that was probably written by someone else, like a tweet or just something on Notes app, or a title card apology. But that's why I included in this video, so I could talk about it. He's not the first one. He's not the only one. D'Angelo Wallace talked about all of the influencers that partied during the pandemic. He was caught many, many times partying with TikTokers without any masks. And they don't care because they're young and it doesn't affect them. So, Pokimane, August 18th, 2020. And it says, my overdue apology. Pokimane is one of the top female Twitch streamers, does gaming/reaction videos. In this apology, she talks about the Keemstar Twitter argument that she had over fair use, and she took the video down. She wanted to apologize though for even doing a copyright strike on it. I will show you just a quick clip.
To end things off, again, I'm really sorry that this video is late. Despite my planned break, I should have addressed these things sooner, or I should have addressed these things as the incidents individually occurred, or better yet, the incidents shouldn't have occurred in the first place. I need to be better in facing things head on and just doing better in general. There was a lot of guilt during my time off, and it helped me better reflect on things.
Pokimane apologizes for quite a few things in this video. She talks about how she took down videos of people re-uploading her content onto YouTube with like crazy clickbait titles. One example is like the Leafy is here situation. She apologized to It's a Gundam, she talks about a joke tweet, and like the guy was making fun of her fans. She mentioned that she was shocked he was sponsored, and then she apologizes for like going after his sponsors. At one point she had said the N-word in a clip, and in a tweet a long time ago she apologized for a lot of different things. And then she talks about how stressful it has been, like how people talk about her looks, her personal life, her relationship, and they just create react content to it. From what I understand, Leafy is here is like kind of the catalyst for this apology, and because of his like hyper focus on Pokimane, he ended up getting banned, but she also did issue an apology for a lot of like the shady shit that she had done on YouTube. Tana Mongeau, September 4th, 2020. A long overdue apology. So this apology has 41,000 likes and 114,000 dislikes. So the tone of this apology is very different and seems almost very angry and aggressive. You'll see what I mean by this clip, but essentially she seems very frantic. It's almost 15 minutes long. She apologizes for being such a big part of cancel culture. In my mind, it seemed like she was already trying to essentially shame the people who would like shame her for this video, and she was kind of like pre-calling them out for it just by saying, you know, it's part of cancel culture and how she was a part of it. Other people really shouldn't be either. Don't know what to think about this, but I will show you a quick clip of her apology.
I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart for being such a big part of canceled culture for the entirety of my career. I don't deserve a platform if I continue to act in such a gaslighting and irresponsible manner, and I'm so sorry for how long I've done that. I could sit here and blame it on the people I watched or the people that raised me or the advice that I chose to take, but at the end of the day, I chose to take those paths. I chose to only listen to yes people. I chose to idolize people that taught me the complete wrong way to handle the responsibility of this platform.
As you can see, it is very odd. What is that sound in the background? It's like a... Did you guys hear that too? I mean, I had to double check that it wasn't like a ripped version that was like trying to... I don't even know. It sounded like maybe a white noise machine, but I mean, I have an air purifier that like... I'm sure there's going to be times where I forget to turn it off and that'll be that noise, but oh my gosh, it was playing through the whole video. She talks about how she was sorry for her past actions and like she acknowledges her influence. She talks a lot about her overall influence and power on the platform. She talks about her past microaggressions and her narcissism and her like performative allies to the Black Lives Matter movement. She talks about her past tweets, and she says that this is going to be her last apology ever. And then she wraps her apology up with, and we need to get Trump out of office. So clearly she's very sorry for everything she's done. She intends to make a video, like a political statement at the very end of her apology. Mariale, November 11th, 2020, and it's just titled, Dear Hey Paris, ... So Mariale is a Venezuelan YouTuber who does like vlogs, makeup, beauty stuff. She's apparently like really popular in Venezuela. I can kind of see why, like if there's someone from your country. So she now goes by like Mar apparently in her video, or maybe like it's her second channel. I'm not quite sure, and I kind of don't care enough to look. But essentially she apologizes to the YouTuber Hey Paris. So it started off with the apology, but then she starts going into the details and saying like, Hey Paris left her on red with her apology, etc., etc. So it wasn't really an apology, but it was like a response to everyone like calling her out. So I will show you a clip of her apology.
There's no excuses. There's nothing I can say. I completely messed up, and all I can do is learn from what I did, apologize, which I have done. The minute I realized what mistake I had made, I went on my Instagram and I messaged Paris, and here is a screenshot of that. It was taken at 9:15 p.m. Here you guys can pause and read everything I said. I apologized to her, and she read it and left it on scene. And I was really hoping that we can just kind of talk it out, but she made a video about this, and that's...
As you can see, she's like not that apologetic about it. She says that she's an amazing creator. She talks about how she had credit in the description box, and then she reacts to Paris's video calling her out and like explaining her side. So I will link hopefully like an insider article about the whole situation down below. I did go to Hey Paris's channel afterwards, and Hey Paris ended up refuting a lot of the things that Mariale had in her video, basically saying, yeah, I got an apology, but it was like an hour before she put out her video. So how could anyone respond to that? She also talks about how Marlise was liking a bunch of tweets that were bashing Hey Paris and calling her a clout chaser, even though Marlise was the one who stole the story time from Hey Paris. So essentially this was Marielle's apology, yet not apology. Gabi DeMartino, December 3rd, 2020. This needs to be addressed. Gabi is a beauty/fashion/lifestyle vlogger. Apparently she's a twin. I don't really know much about her. The one thing to note is she does OnlyFans as well. And I'm not saying that to like shame her for like being a woman or whatever, but I'm saying that because that's where the controversy starts from. So she put out a tweet like promoting her OnlyFans, and the tweet was captioned, "Won't put my panties back on." So when people clicked on the tweet, it linked to her OnlyFans, they paid for the subscription, and what they were essentially sent to was a video of Gabi when she was an incredibly young child, and I'm not sure if she was like nude in it or like partially nude, and her grandma says, "Put your panties back on." She says that she thought it was like an innocent thing, but essentially, if you think about it, she was, I don't know how to say it, she was essentially like promoting, in some cases, some would consider like child porn. I will show you a clip from the apology.
The quote from the video: "Never in a million years did I think something that I thought was so innocent could be looked in such an ugly way, and I think that's where the problem lies. I realized I'm so disattached with reality that it didn't even cross my mind that this could be viewed like this."
As you can see, it was very short and very, very scripted. I'm sure someone who she hired for like PR scripted that for her. She talks about how like never in a million years could she ever think that that was like child porn, but call a duck a duck. How could you not know? At the very least, it's clickbaity, and at the very worst, you promoted child porn. Mini Lad, December 28th, 2020, and then it's just titled My Apology. So Mini Lad is a gamer. He was part of like this cohort of like gaming YouTubers, but he kind of had like a falling out with them. He decided to go solo on YouTube, and he was pretty successful at it. I would highly recommend the Mini Lad Internet Ajay. I'm sorry I mispronounced it in my last video, but it's Internet Ajay, and he went into his full history, and he included this controversy as well. So Mini Lad, ex-girlfriend, basically broke up with him and put out like a like public tweets saying how toxic their relationship was. She did mention that he never like hit her, but it was a very bad relationship, and that prompted two girls to come out with their own stories, essentially saying Mini Lad, aka Craig, had been messaging them inappropriate content messages when they were children, basically, like before they had turned 18. So a couple other people since then have come up with their own things, but this apology was addressing the two main girls who are named Allie and Ash. So I will show you a clip from this apology.
The reality is I was being selfish. I wasn't thinking about repercussions. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just being stupid. And I really want to apologize for that. I just wasn't thinking. And I regret it. I've regretted it since. And for that, for both Hallie and Ash, I'm really sorry.
It's a little over 7 minutes long. It has 59,000 likes and 193,000 dislikes. So, as I said before, Hallie was a mod for him, and he ended up like adding her on Snapchat when she was 16, and he hit on her when she was 17, according to him. He talks about how in 2017 he was suicidal, and that kind of was his like excuse. And then for Ash, he said that she was a friend of one of his friends. So he sent them inappropriate messages. He shows some of the messages, and then he talks about how he went back to Ireland, not to escape any convictions or anything like that, but to just be nearer to family. But he did move to Texas just recently, so he's back in the States again. That brings us to the year 2021, and I'm just going to continue to the year 2021 because I mean, that's this year, and I'm just going to go through a few videos, and they're all kind of linked together in some weird way. So, first one is David Dobrik, March 16th, 2021, and it says, "Let's Talk," uploaded on his Views channel, so that's something to note because that is the one that has less views. So, David Dobrik, if you don't know, is a Vine star. He would vlog his life, and he ended up becoming really famous for vlogging the lives of his friends as well. And each of his friends had kind of like this fun little stereotype that they fell into, and they would kind of make jokes. All of these videos, they were all kind of known as like the vlog squad, and he would make videos that were only like 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and that's kind of like a famous reference to pot smoking. That was kind of not the norm on YouTube, because in order to have like a mid-roll in your video, they have to be at least like 10 minutes long. So he kind of went against the norm, and he became like YouTube's golden child. So he was very much like beloved. The situation is kind of like a little bit convoluted. A lot of people in the year 2021 probably know it though, so I'm going to explain it as best as I can. So essentially, David Dobrik, he sets up like situations for his friends in his vlogs. Like he likes scaring them. He had like a flamethrower that he surprised some of them with. He surprised his friends with cars, things like that. At one point, he had this vlog where he brought his friends over to his house, and then his one friend ended up wanting to have like a 5-some or something like that. And this friend is named Dirty Dom. So Dirty Dom, they ended up bringing some girls over to the house, and I don't even know how to describe it. They ended up plying the girls with alcohol to try to make them looser, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but they had just kind of responded to like the ad because they had wanted to meet someone famous from the vlog squad, but they ended up all getting like more than they bargained for. So essentially it was kind of implied that Dirty Dom had gotten the consent from these couple girls that went through with this act, but it's kind of come to light that this wasn't the situation. So why isn't Dirty Dom getting like more hate? Well, he is, but David Dobrik is the one that kind of set up the whole situation. And he has done like quite a few sketchy things before in the past too. He's the one that kind of creates this like weird power dynamic with his friends and then also his fans. And he's kind of been accused of being a little bit like a cult leader. How he doesn't get mad at his friends, but he gets very disappointed with them and their actions. And Dom was one of those friends that he was disappointed with their actions, and so he kind of kicked him out of the squad without officially kicking him out. So this is like his first apology. David Dobrik, it was very scripted. I'll just show you a clip of it.
And there's also been moments where I've looked back on videos and I realized that these don't represent me anymore and they're hurtful to other people, and I don't want them up because I've grown, you know, as a content creator and as a person, and I don't agree with some of the videos I've posted.
In this apology, he kind of focuses on kind of not the main issue. He says that he always pulls videos that people don't consent to. But the main issue was the fact that someone was raped in his video, and we couldn't see it happening, but we could kind of see the before and after of it. He talks about his power dynamics with his friends, Seth, and racism. So Seth was one of his friends who was in his squad who is African American, and they did countless clips of them just doing like really racial and like stereotypical behavior to like make fun of Seth, basically. One of the friends too, and he didn't apologize to this friend, was like a guy named Nick, who is a person with like dwarfism, I believe it is, and they just made jokes about how short he was. In this apology though, David talks about how he distanced himself from friends like Dom, how actions speak louder than words. So he titled his video to "Let's Talk," and then he turned off the comments. So this apology video was ripped apart, which brings me to the next apology video, which is also David Dobrik. So this is the second apology video. It came out on March 22nd, 2021, and it's just titled 3-22-21. A lot of people say that this was his response when people, or at least when brands started dropping him. He did create like his own app or whatever that he was promoting online, and it was supposed to be like I don't even know, like the next Snapchat or whatever. He ended up getting dropped as like part of the board or being like an owner of this company or whatever. I don't even know. In this second apology, he did allow comments, and surprisingly 714,000 people liked it and 148,000 people disliked it. So I will show you a clip of David's second apology.
There's a lot I can look at and there's a lot I can learn from, but there's a lot of mistakes that I made, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for everybody I've let down. I'm sorry to my family, and I'm sorry to my friends that I've embarrassed, and that this won't happen again. I'm gonna take a short break from all the social media stuff because I realize there's a serious lack of infrastructure.
In my mind, a lot of it's just a little too late. He talks about how he platformed Dom. He didn't reach out to the victims, and essentially he just tried sweeping everything under the rug. And then he talked about power dynamics. Jeff Wittek, March 26, 2021, and the title of the video is Just a Dot. Not just a dot, but it's literally just a period. Jeff Wittek is a Vlog Squad member. He's kind of known as like the criminal of the Vlog Squad. I have no context for this because I don't watch David's vlogs. The Vlog Squad is like really famous for any of the controversies that they're in. They don't really address it, and it just kind of disappears. Well, Jeff was one of the people who tried addressing this controversy about like the allegations that Dirty Dom raped someone and David featured it in like the video he put out or one of the vlogs. And in this apology, Jeff had originally like defended David and talked about how David didn't get mad at people, he just was disappointed with them. And he kind of attacked the reporter who made this like really national news. Well, Jeff Wittek also appeared on like the Frenemies podcast with Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein, and they both talked about how he was kind of misinformed and he didn't know the situation behind it. And so he defended David again, but he got ripped apart. And this is his apology for defending it.
That this girl worked up the courage to tell, and I feel horrible about it, and I just want to apologize. I truly believe Hannah's story. I respect her for coming forward and telling it. It takes a lot. And to have somebody like me come on and just focus on myself and my part of the story and saying that it was a lie just because I was selfish and I didn't want to be mentioned in this act at all.
And this is his apology for defending David, not getting his facts straight or reading the whole article before he came out with this statement. He does apologize for discrediting the victim and the writer of the expose article on David. He recently also revealed that like he had gotten horrifically injured filming one of David's videos, and that's why David Dobrik was actually so quiet during the year 2020. A lot of people thought he was just respecting social distancing, but in reality, he had almost killed Jeff Wittek. He didn't say that in this apology video, but Jeff Wittek came out with like this video series that he's doing. And again, this is the benefit of hindsight. This came out like a month ago now. Jeff came out with like the second vlog or whatever that he's doing, like kind of exposing David a little bit, yet he's still not completely blaming him for it. From what I understand, Jeff Wittek is going to never be able to like see completely clearly out of that eye again. He got, I think, kind of partially blinded in that eye. So he got horrifically injured in one of the stunts where David was, you know, those machines that are like diggers or whatever? They had a rope attached to the crane part of that machine hanging down, and David would like twist it or turn the machine so that it was kind of like almost like a 360 swing. He ended up like stopping it abruptly while Jeff slammed into the side of the machine because physics, and his foot ended up getting caught in like the rope that he was hanging on to, and he hit his head, I believe, on like the side of the machine, and he was dangling upside down with his head in the water for like a good long while, and he was like unconscious because he had a brain injury basically. But you could see him like struggling a little bit, and then people going over to rescue him. So essentially David almost killed his friend too. So when it comes to this apology though, it's very strange. I can see why people say like the vlog squad is very cult-like. I don't know what to think about Jeff Wittek either. I'm not gonna lie, if I hadn't seen that second video, I probably would have said my other thoughts about Jeff Wittek after just watching his apology. Actually, you know what? This video is about apology videos. I'm just gonna say my thoughts anyway. Jeff Wittek, I do think it was a very sincere apology, but he also titled his video in a very strange way that's going to be hard to find. It was hard to download this video, I think possibly because of the title of it just being a period. I think that this apology, he was hoping just to like have it be on the back burner of his video career. I don't even know how to describe it, but I think he was hoping to bury it right away. So I think Jeff was trying to bury this video by his title, and also by default, I think that kind of takes away or like detracts from his original apology. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it was just my stupid head that like couldn't figure out how to download it, but I literally had no other problems with any other apology video. So I don't know if he had weird settings on his account or on this video, or if they just had a hard time, whatever downloading system I use, like, I don't know. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I could be wrong. Now, the last apology is James Charles, April 1st, 2021, and it's titled Holding Myself Accountable. So James Charles, as I said, is the makeup guru, and the controversy is that he's been inappropriately messaging young boys. I will just show a clip of this apology.
First and foremost, I need to say sorry. I owe a massive apology to anybody that I've hurt or anybody that I've made uncomfortable with my actions. And I also want to say I'm sorry to my friends, family, and fans that have to watch another one of these videos, because you shouldn't have to, and this is really, really embarrassing. When this all started online...
This video is like almost 15 minutes in length. It's not very well received. It has... Well, it's like a little over 50-50. It's like 267,000 likes and 207,000 dislikes. He said that this video had no script. I think probably part of it was scripted. James claims that all of the boys claimed to be over the age of 18, and he should have done his own research on it. He talks about how receipts don't matter. The conversation shouldn't have happened in the first place. He was reckless because he was desperate. And then he talks about kind of like the same thing that David Dobrik talked about, which is like a power imbalance in the relationship. How he is the famous person and he's kind of preying on these young TikTok boys. The fact of the matter is James Charles keeps having this same controversy over and over again. Like, he keeps inappropriately messaging young people who are not old enough to be in a sexual relationship with him, because he is over the age of 18. I think he's in his 20s now. One thing to note about a lot of James Charles's apologies is they're all incredibly quiet. Like, my videos are very quiet, but his are incredibly quiet. It's so annoying. And I know he can fix that, but I'm not sure if he thinks that that'll make him seem so sincere, and it doesn't. So anyway, that was the last apology. I do have some final thoughts at the end that I just kind of wanted to go over. I think one thing to know about apologies is the one thing that I've learned in my life, and it's kind of hard to do online, at least I think, is if any of you have seen The Last Lecture, and I can't think of his name, but he was like a professor at MIT who ended up getting like diagnosed with, I think it was either stomach or like liver cancer, and expected to live like 6 more months. So he decided to create like a last lecture, and the video is still on YouTube. He wrote a book, and he talks about how apologies should have like 3 things. And I could be wrong. It's been a few years since I've seen it, but apologies should have, I'm sorry, it was my fault, here's what I'm going to do to fix it. And I think the reason why so many apologies feel disingenuous is because they're missing like 1 or 2 of these parts in their videos. And because they're missing them, it's very hard for like at least the public to accept it. I think I also mentioned in my first video the whole reason why apology videos even came to be, and it was because of like cancel culture. And I do still agree that that's a thing. And at first, going into this topic, I thought cancel culture was kind of a good thing, because it allowed like really terrible people, it pressured them into apologizing for something. But I think we realize now that like the truly terrible people, no matter how much you pressure them, how much they really should apologize, as long as they don't do it on their own terms, or I don't know how to describe it. You get completely disingenuous apologies. Like one good example would be all of like the hype beasts that apologize. They truly, the only reason why they're apologizing is for clout or clickbait, or if they are feeling pressure at all, they completely miss the mark with their apologies. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'm not even sure where I'm going to place this clip in between any of my other clips, because this was another like last thought I had. But okay, so I just finished talking about all of these apology videos and kind of the controversies behind them and like the impact that they had. And I just wanted to go over some of my thoughts. So as I said in the previous description, like I've watched the majority of these apology videos, and I'm not gonna lie, like after 40 of them, you start getting to be really existential. You really start questioning yourselves, especially when like you start reaching the ones where they're like an hour long, or like any apologies that are over 10 minutes automatically, this just shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I feel like a couple of like the key apology videos were key in the fact that like they really changed the YouTuber apology videos in general. Like the first one probably being the Fine Brothers, because it was so badly received. The next one was probably Jenna Marbles, like what happened to my fishies video, and that one was really long because it included the previous video in its entirety, the one that she kind of explains and apologizes for at the very end. I think a lot of YouTubers maybe took their cue from that video in thinking that they were sincere in explaining their side, and then they turned it into more of a story time portion where it was like, okay, but you know, I'm sorry, but here are my excuses. I do think that personally, the family vlogs are absolutely my bane of existence. I honestly think that the fact that YouTube has the ability to monetize and like allow people to monetize their lives, or at least their child's lives, I think is criminal. And I think that a lot of these people should be prosecuted. They exploit their children, like the extreme circumstances. The ones that I'm thinking of are like the Daddy of Five, the Stauffer family. I truly don't even know how to explain it, because they're the ones that I probably hate the most. Yet in a weird, sick way, I kind of hope that in the end, those are the families, or at least the YouTubers that I hope are happy, weirdly. And I only hope that, because if the parents aren't happy in some way, I think that it would make like a terrible cycle of abuse for their children, if that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, every single time I came across like one of those videos, it was just like, and it's like, I don't want to be on this planet anymore. What's that meme? Yeah, the Futurama meme. If you're worried about like my thoughts, or if you think I'm being exploitive, just know that, you know, I'm making no money from YouTube. I don't think I have a single subscriber yet. I kind of just made these videos for fun, which kind of sounds crazy to people, but I really like commentary videos, and I just realized that there was no like complete timeline of a YouTuber apology. So I thought I tried making one. If you use my clips for your videos, I don't care. I thought more about going into this subject, talking about like the reputation of YouTubers before and after their apologies, if the apologies were accepted. I thought about doing like graphs and things like that, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lazy piece of shit. I accumulated like my script for all of these videos, or at least the whole series, just so you know, is 40 pages long. And that doesn't include the other pages that I have for like all of the links to the videos and then all of the statistics of them. Like, did they allow comments? What was the comment rating, or what was the like dislike ratio? Other things to note, there's a few people that I was kind of shocked to know don't really have apology videos. One being like the Ace family. They have no one real apology video, even though they've done some really shitty things. Nikita Dragon, also a person who's done a lot of really shitty things, and the only thing that she's done is a parody of an apology video. Let's see, the one exception would be like a reposting of a Snapchat story apology, which I didn't include. And then Trish Paytas has way more apologies, but I honestly couldn't fit all of their apologies onto this timeline because I bet it would be like a quarter of it. So I hope you guys also realize that these are my first YouTube videos. I'm so sorry that the quality is so bad. I'd like to say I'm going to try to improve it, but I'm not sure. I think I'm going to take on a less heavy topic after this. I'm a big fan of YouTube and I love watching YouTube videos. I've always wanted to make my own videos, but I kind of never really knew where to start, and I never had attitude, I should say, or like I was always really ashamed of myself. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm a very awkward person. And like, I'm so sorry if it seems like there's a lot of jump cuts in my videos, but I realize now I tend to say like a lot and essentially and okay. So I'm sorry, all of the people listening. I did my best to edit, but these videos ended up being like a very long time, which I think I should have covered like a less time intensive video for like my first, like a less time intensive topic for my first video. But you know, I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad that I got the experience. If you do like my videos, you can subscribe down below. I'm not gonna force it though, because you know, I just did this as like a fun passion project. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.